Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hello, and welcome everybody to another day at the podcast. We are going to be doing part 2 of starting a business, or maybe you're like wanting to, upscale your business or just like monetize it, whatever you're thinking to make business happen for you, okay? There's all kinds of businesses out there. So in the first part 1, we talked about more startups. We talked about what kind, if you should incorporate, just use a DBA. So we covered those kinds of things. And then we talked about a little bit about, then you've got a market after you've got everything set up. Well, now we're going to be talking about going on just a little bit further. So now you're making money, okay? Or those of you that are listening in, you already have your business set up. You've done all that stuff. Like you can do that in your sleep. Now you want to monetize what you have a little bit further. Like if you're not growing, your business is dying. Like you've got to always be keeping up with the new trends and, continuing to educate yourself. Super important. We talked about that in the first one as well, that I could have a PhD for all the classes I've had, but I took what I wanted to, what I felt like I needed to grow my business. If I wanted to learn something, I went and took a class on it. Or nowadays, you can do so many things online. I would do, a webinar, or I'd buy a class online, whatever. Just keep growing your business because you always need to be learning. Things change. There are things that come in waves, everything comes in waves. We see the statistics in the world, and there's always ups and downs and ups and downs. So always be able to stay in the ups and not get to those downs when things turn down. Because, if we only all had that crystal ball and we could just pull it out and look at it and, figure it all out, that would be, my choice. I don't know about you, but I'd love to predict it, especially in real estate. I've been a real estate broker for, 14 years, I think. And it's like, if I could just predict some of that, there's so many people that I would sell a house to, and then I'd be like, shoot, they just lost $50,000, on that house when some things went down. Anyway, totally off the topic, but, just saying, I want to keep up so that I can educate and I can be at the top of my game so that any clients that I work with, I can give them good advice. And again, if I don't feel comfortable with what I'm sharing, I'm going to refer that out like to somebody who does. I can't be an expert in everything. I mean, I know a lot of things just from experience. And, again, I can't give legal advice. I can't give tax advice. So you have to go to the people for those things. All right. So when you get going in your business and you're making some money and you're seeing some changes, maybe changes in the marketplace with what you're doing, just depends what your company is. You might want to revisit the branding. Where you started and where you are now, does it fit? Does it fit your name even? We started this whole part 1 on picking a name for your company. And does that fit your company now? Like I just rebranded to Prosperity Profilers. Back before I was doing things more under the image designers. Well, it just didn't fit where I was going with my company. And so I rebranded. I will say rebranding is a pain in the you-know-what. It takes a lot of time and effort and energies, and things keep popping up still with that company name on it. I changed my LLC, so I don't know, I think it was $35 or something. I filled out paperwork, and then with my state, I live in the state of Utah, I filed that. So like it changed from the Image Designers LLC to Prosperity Profilers LLC. So that can be done, and that way I didn't have to file a closing tax report and an opening and and all that. So it'll be a little messy this year because I've ran business under both companies. but it's still the same LLC. So with my tax accountant, it should be okay. I don't know. Haven't crossed that bridge yet. I'll let you know. And then you'll want to, think about maybe launching something new. Like look at the trends and look what's working out. You can Google anything. So go and find out, like search a subject that maybe you want to teach on something new, or maybe you want to create a program and make some content about something new. So do your research first. Facebook has it set up where you can do surveys, totally ask for that information. And then when you decide to do those launches, you'll want to get your calendar out and, really plan out your launch as well. So when you're planning for the next year, I say, get the whole year out in advance. Always schedule your vacations first, because if you don't and you're a normal entrepreneur, you're not going to have one. Like there'll always be something that comes up. So have that a non-negotiable, that this is the date we're going out of town, and we're going to, and maybe your plans will change or your finances will change and you'll go on a different vacation, but you still get that vacation in. So figure out what that is. If it's a week, if it's 5 weeks, whatever. If you're going to go out of the country on a vacation, you'll probably have at least a 2 or 3 week vacation. So yes, get those on the calendar. So plan everything around that. I mean, you don't want to launch and then leave town. Okay. So that's common sense, but sometimes we just don't think that far ahead and we just need that little reminder. Make sure that when you get to that point, that you can only do the things that you can do. Don't waste your time spending, doing a $10 an hour job or a $20 an hour job. If you could have an assistant or a VA do that for you, figure out your value. What are you worth an hour? And then why are you doing all those activities that aren't at your hourly rate? So get help, reach out, don't be cheap. Like nothing makes me more crazy than people that are cheap. Like seriously, I understand budgeting and I understand all that. However, how much more money would you be making if you weren't doing all the little details in your business? Like if you took those time, if you have a sales call instead and you close a deal, how much more is that worth to you than creating a flyer or a document or a landing page? Like let the experts that do that do that. You do what you can do. You do what you're the expert at. Don't pull your hair out, making yourself crazy, trying to do everything in your company, because you can't wear every hat. I say this from experience. I say this because I'm one of those people. Oh, it's faster sometimes just to do it than to teach somebody. And then the next time, guess what? They knew how. And the next time, and the next time. You don't have to stop and teach somebody because you've got somebody who can handle that for you. Way more productivity will happen, I guarantee you. So get your accountant to look at your books. If you're in business for a little while and you're making some money, have them look at your numbers. Like, where can you save? Where can you invest? What kind of things could you put your money into that would get you more interest? I mean, the bank's a joke, right? I don't know, 0.02. I don't know what even the interest rate is, because I don't keep my money in the banks. That's not the place for it for me, but that's my personal choice. So, look at ways that you can sock it away and make more money. Okay. And then help others be able to, dive deeper with you. Like leave that open so that people have an opportunity to work with you more. So like if you have a contract with somebody, or if you're a coach and you're coaching somebody and your contract ends, okay, like it's just not over unless you choose to have it over. It doesn't have to be over. Like give them an opportunity. Always seed for more opportunities to dive deeper with you in your company. Like whatever it is you do. I mean, maybe you're a landscaper entrepreneur, right? And you just created this whole landscaping business for them. Look at ways you can dive deeper. Maybe you want to do the maintenance now. Maybe that's not your business model. But if it was, for instance, I'm thinking off the top of my head of ways, outside of just a regular business contract. Like what could you do more for them? Like what could you set up so that maybe as a landscaper, you could have a membership site and they buy into your membership for $35 a month and they pay to be in there, and you give them tips of how to take care of all the plants that you just planted in their yard, or the best times to fertilize, and then that's part of your service, and this is when they call you and things like that. So think of ways you can monetize your business so that there's ways people can dive deeper with you. Maybe you are a coach and you want to start doing some live events, or maybe you want to start doing retreats. Like, retreats are all the rage right now, right? There's so many of them. I could be on vacation permanently just being on retreats with all my friends that have retreats. Don't say I don't want to. I do. And there's a time and a place, and we have to work sometimes and build our own businesses. So that might be something you want to add on to your company, is a retreat. And it could be short. It could be like, start out with 1 or 2 days, and then maybe a weekend. Start it out in your own town, and then maybe have one in Hawaii. Like, if you enjoy doing them, have them in places that you want to travel to, so that gives you a reason to get there. And then, gosh, just keep moving forward. Like, keep thinking of new ideas. Always, I would say, obviously, I'm a little partial to coaches. Have a coach that you outgrow. I don't work with people longer than 6 months at a time, because I want to attract action takers, because I'm an action taker. So I want people that are going to come in and move. Let's get you forward. Let's get you, to prosperity and multiple streams of income. That's what I'm all about in serving other people. I want to help you with that stuff. And at the same time, life gets in the way a lot of times. And that's something that I can work on with people. If I see, it's not really a business issue, it's really a life issue, that's something that I work through that with you. I can work with you. I've got different modalities and tools in my toolbox that I'm trained to get you out of your own way so that you can keep moving forward and become prosperous. And sometimes there's just some little mindset tweaks that we need to do to get you on your way to success. So I hope that helped you. I hope those were a few ideas in a short amount of time that we had together today. And I will see you again on another day in the podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.